This is Tony Hill. I've had many people ask how to tie the 10 by 10 knot. There used to be a good tutorial that Weege put up, but that seems to be gone. It's kind of lost to the internet. So here's the process. When you're tying braid, like a thin braid, like 10, 15, 20, to a leader, in this case it's 25-pound leader. I generally, with this knot, like to use 25-pound or stronger. So anyway, but the knot is very small. The purpose of it is you can make a longer leader that you can actually wind into your guides, making handling fish easier when you're catching big fish. You have to leader them. So to start out with, you want to pull off some line. I usually tie 5 to 6 feet to give us a long leader. And then what you want to do, first thing you want to do is you want to take the leader, run it between your fingers, and pull it very tightly. Hear it squeaking? You want to make it where you feel it getting hot in your fingers, and you want to stretch it out. And what you're doing is you're straightening out the line. If you saw when I first pulled it out, it made coils. Notice now it just lays flat and straight. So you stretch your leader out, and that's the first step. So get your leader stretched out, whatever length you want. You can be as short as 2 feet or as long as 10 feet, whatever you want. Then you take one end of the leader and you tie an overhand knot in it loose. If you see here, notice that the overhand knot is loose. You notice that the tag end comes out, whichever side. Whichever way that tag end comes out, you want to take your main line, your braid, and put it in the way the tag end comes out. And this is very important if you want a strong knot. You want to go in the same way the tag end comes out, because otherwise the knot, the braid will cut the leader when you put serious pressure on it. And this knot is pretty much 100% knot as far as strength. If you tie it properly, when you get hung up, you won't get your leader back. It'll break somewhere up in the line. There's ways to tie it weaker if you really want that, but generally when we're catching big fish, we want it to be 100% knot. We'll just have to tie another leader later if we break one off. So anyway, what you do is you tie that knot in there, and now the next most important thing to remember is once you tie that overhand knot in, you put your tag in, the end of your main line in, you want to grab it in your teeth, and you want to pull this knot so tight that it literally fuses shut. And then you hold it for a few seconds so it cools. So you pull it tight, it gets hot, it fuses shut, and then it cools. So let me tighten this down. Okay. Now you've got the overhand knot is literally fused around the end of your main line. So then what you do is you pull down, give yourself, 6 or 8 inches. And if you can have a little tension on your main line, that helps. So I usually put my rod in a rod holder, and give myself enough so I can work with. Then the next step is you take the leader and you put it between your fingers like this, and you just spin it. So hold the line out, start close to the leader to give that first loop a pretty big loop, and then you kind of hold it out at a 90-degree angle. And the whole reason it's called the 10 by 10 is you spin it down roughly 10 times down and then 10 times back up. You end up with kind of a braid there. Then you grab the leader in your hand, the knot in your hand, and then slide it up the leader. And see how that loop forms? See that loop right there? You take the tag in and stick it underneath that first loop. And so now the knot looks like this. Now you tighten it down. You slowly pull on it. You pull on the tag end just to keep it tight. And then you pull on you're pulling on your main line. Just keep the tag in pulled to keep it tight. And you see it slowly form up. And then once it forms up nice and tight, you literally grab it and you pop it. You pull it. You yank it. You want that thing to fuse shut. There you go. Put serious pressure on that. And so now if you look at it, you'll see that knot is super, super tight. You probably don't need the keeper knot in there for this. But, I don't want it ever to lose a fish to a knot. So that is a properly tied 10 by 10 knot. Now to keep it from tearing up your guides, especially if you use light spinning gear, you want to cut off that tag end of the leader really tight and close like that. So it's, almost gone. And then it doesn't really matter so much with your leader, with your main line, because it's braid, it's soft. But that is a properly tied 10 by 10 knot. I hope this helps you and helps you catch and keep a lot of big fish. Thanks.